Well, there's a lot of things going on in the world right now, as we all know, but but we all can do what we can do. So if we think about growth trajectory, and again, we jump ahead a little bit to why is private equity in healthcare? It's because they're seeing that doctors are not running businesses like business people. They're not saying one is right or wrong. Neither of you or and I
Right.
are saying that, but there's some thought process to, okay, what are we doing or what are they doing? And what I want is every individual practitioner that wants to be individual to be steadfast in their individuality, but do the same things that the business owners are doing. Look at their numbers, negotiate with their vendors, understand the inefficiencies within their practice. Look for those tools that automate things going forward, understand and make decisions on their rent, their utilization, expansion, all of those things that help them make that decision.
What one thing, and we have dashboards going everywhere,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
just
same.
dashboards and dashboards and dashboards, right? It's like you sort of drown in dashboards. And one of the things that you mentioned and talk about is owners should not drown in dashboards,
Yeah.
and why dashboards fail, and what makes the KPI actionable in relation to the dashboards, right?
Yeah.
And then how do you measure that daily, weekly, hourly? Tell me about why you see that the practice owners fail regarding these dashboards.
Yeah. Man, it comes down to accountability. And you mentioned in that statement there, ownership. What we find so often is, let's say we pick those top 5 KPIs that we love, that are meaningful to us, that we want to focus on. We're going to focus on one for the next quarter, but who owns it? So if we're sitting down, you and I are sitting down with our team and having that conversation, and we didn't hit our production goals or we didn't hit our patient count throughput, why not? Who owns that answer? If somebody's not trying to make sure we hit those goals, accountability is where it fails. There are a lot of beautiful dashboards. We put together a lot of dashboards, but if there isn't
Oh, we
somebody,
got dashboards on top of
oh
dashboards.
yeah, I mean, and of course, in the age of, again, technology and automation, and all these softwares are trying to create these dashboards, they're very pretty. But if all they're doing is putting out a pretty picture or a pretty graph or a representation of what's happening, what action are we taking with that dashboard? So I tell people, let's get good data. And even if they don't want to spend money on a dashboard, okay, open up Excel month by month, drop in these every single month, these numbers. And I mean, these are smart people. Look at the trends. Is there something there that looks off to you? And that's where we start with. Let's just start at 30,000 feet as we start realizing what's happening in all this data. And Sally Jane or Jim Bob or whomever is going to own
Yeah, yeah.
marketing and new patients and our vendor relations. Great, let's empower them to do it.
So why do you see, right? So getting back to the levers and the KPI. So why do you see that net collections, like per provider, is dropping? Well,
Yeah,
so what do you guys see on your end? Because that's critical. I mean, if you got
incredibly.
collections dropping per provider, something's not right, or they're not measuring, or something. What do you guys
Yeah.
see on the financial side?
Well, it's obviously there's a lot of stuff. You always have insurance compression, which is awful, right? There's only so much that can be done, but what we so often find is a lot of our providers are just accepting. If they get rate cuts, they're just accepting it. They're not going back. They're not fighting it. They're thinking, oh, that's the big insurance company. There's not much I can do. They're not evaluating whether do I stay in network with this insurance provider? Do I market to a different insurance provider?
Yep.
And of course, we have to look at the efficiencies or inefficiencies in their day and their utilization. A lot of things we find when, again, we go back to these days is if we get somebody new at the front desk and they don't really know how to maximize and double book the calendar or triple book the calendar, there's inefficiency in schedule. Or we see where, hey, this doctor, they can get in and out with a patient, give them great clinical care and be in and out in 15, 20 minutes, while an assistant or a hygienist is prepping the next room or working through the next patient to onboard them. They could see 3 patients in an hour, as opposed to another provider that's trying to control every aspect, be there through the entire patient experience, and they're seeing 1 or 2 patients.
No,
So you
there's
have that
yeah,
balance. Yeah.
yeah. Go ahead. No, finish that comment.
Yeah, no, you absolutely have that balance in saying, okay, what is, you can't, you and I are lay folks. We can't dictate to doctors of how they should
Yeah.
do clinical care. We can make them aware of what